You are listening to BSSN Wrestling with your hosts, Blake Wright and Brian Armand. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very special edition of BSSN Wrestling. My name is Blake Wright, and joining me today, he is a man who's a former NWA and WWE referee, a former general manager of Raw, Smackdown, and ECW. He's a former manager for WWE superstars D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, and Diva Jazz. He's a member of the Combat Sport Pro Hall of Fame and the NWA Hall of Famer, and in my mind, a future WWE Hall of Famer. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I present to you guys Teddy Long. Teddy, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. Thank you very much, and really thank you for a hell of an introduction there. Thank you so much, man. I'm just happy that you gave me the opportunity to get a chance to come on your show and talk about, what I've been doing, over the past couple of years, and, kind of let the fans, keep them up to date and let them know what's going on with me now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and we are definitely honored to get you on the show and, to let the fans, hear about, your tremendous career in NWA and in WWE. So let's get on to it. So, Teddy, what are you up to now?
I've been doing a lot of Comic-Con autograph signings. I've did a lot of, wrestling conventions. I do a lot of meet and greets. Also, I'm involved with a lot of independent wrestling organizations. I'm involved with one down in Mobile, Alabama. It's called the AWF. We're trying to get that off the ground. And also, I've been got myself hooked up with a great team of people, and to make, to kind of lead you into this, I was always questioning about social media. Even when I was in the WWE, I never was on Twitter. There were people that were in the WWE that were, pretending to be me. But I never got on social media, and I guess I never did really understand how valuable that was and how good, how great it was to be beyond that. And so I hooked up with a team of people, a good friend of mine, Jamie Cutter, and if you guys can give him a big shout out at any time, at Jamie Cutter. And let him know, because he is the one that got me convinced to get on social media. And then after I got on it, I understood and found out, that it is the thing to be. I'm glad that, I can let the people know that, where I am, because there are a lot of people out there that miss me. And I didn't know that until, I got that Facebook page, and, a lot of people, start, hitting me up and talking about that. So it's just a good thing that I'm on there. And if you people like to follow me at that teddylong.com, you can go there and you can find everything you need to know about me. If you need me to book me for any kind of wrestling event or any kind of speaking engagement, I'm doing that too. I go to colleges and I speak at high schools, churches. So I'm just kind of an all-around man now, and I kind of tell my story to people, where I started and how I made it to professional wrestling and where I am today. And also let them know that God is a big part of my life, and He's just keeping me hanging around and keeping me entertaining people and making people happy. So at teddylong.com is where you need to go. And I'd like to get, feedback from the players. Let me know if you like the site and let me know what you think about it. So I appreciate you guys letting me come on, to let everybody know that.
Yes, absolutely. And guys, we are going to go ahead and after this podcast is over, we are going to tweet out the Twitter handle for the official Teddy Long account just to make sure that you're not following any fake accounts, because there are several out there. Teddy Long, he's a man that a lot of people want to be. And we will tweet out his official Twitter name so you never have to worry about following the fake Teddy Long account. And
I'm glad you brought that up, too, because I did run across some guy that had the nerve to tweet me and tell me I was fake. And this was at the real Teddy Long SD. And I guess the SD was for Smackdown, but it's at the real Teddy Long SD. Well, that's a fake account. That's not me.
Yeah, and I saw that Twitter exchange, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me, because how I reached out to Teddy was on Twitter, and I talked to him on the phone, so I knew 110% that was the real Teddy Long, and then this one guy has the nerve to tell him that Teddy Long, the real account, is the fake account. So it's crazy what the world we live in, unfortunately. But hopefully, with this podcast and with all the tweets we're going to put out, hopefully that exposes the fake account. And hopefully that shines the light on Teddy Long's real personal Twitter account. So let's make sure, guys, that, we're not following that fake account. Maybe we can all report it and see if we can get that Twitter account disabled. And let's all follow the real Teddy Long account. So, Teddy, now I have a question for you. How exactly did you get started and get into the world of professional wrestling?
Well, back in the day it was NWA, and they used to tape here in Atlanta, my home. They used to tape down at the television station. It's TBS now, but it used to be Channel 17, and it wasn't no cable. And that's where they used to tape every morning Georgia Championship Wrestling. So I always, I started going down to watching the TV taping. I like wrestling, so I would go down every Saturday morning and, I'd watch the TV taping, watch them film the show. So me going down every week, I happened to run into Abdullah the Butcher, and Tommy Rich was another guy that I ran into. But basically, Abdullah was kind of new to the city, and he didn't know his way around, so I kind of showed him around. So by me running into him, I had a chance on Saturday morning just to ride down to the TV station with him, and so I went in with him. So that way, I was able to go in the back and where all the other wrestlers was. So by me doing that, I started hanging around, and so I would go to the ring, and when the guys take off their jackets and their coats, they would always hand them to me. So I never got any money, never got paid for that, but I was just there to do that. So they gave me the jackets and stuff. I would take that back to the locker room. Also, I ran a lot of errands, like guys, there wasn't no food facility nowhere, so I'd go and get food for different guys, for Dusty Rhodes. Back then, it was the Four Horsemen and people like Magnum TA and stuff. So I ran errands and stuff, and then I also, had to clean up the TV station after everybody left. I had to do that, no money involved. So finally, a job came open. They needed somebody to put the ring up, take the ring down. So I had been, around. Everybody had seen me, some guy, liked me and knew me. So I got that job, putting up the ring, taking the ring down, and the promoter at the time was a lady named Louise Manning, and she's still living right today. I had a chance to see her maybe about a year ago, and I thanked her because it was her that gave me my start too. So Louise Manning gave me that job, putting the ring up, taking the ring down, and hauling the ring around. I had to, tear it down, put it on the truck, haul it around to every place. So finally, one night in Marietta, Georgia, we had a show there at the Cobb Civic Center, and the referee didn't show up. So Louise Manning, she started panicking. She's like, "Oh my God, we got no referee."
Right.
So she came to me, but I had went there to put the ring up. That was my job at the time. So she came to me and asked me, "Could I referee?" And I told her, "No, I never." She said, "Well, don't worry about it." She said, "The guys will they'll talk to you." So. I got in. She sent and got me a referee shirt, and I got in the ring, for the first time that night. And I remember the first match I had. It was Ron Bass and Black Bart. It was a Texas Death match. And brother, they were bleeding all over the place, and I was scared to death. I'm like, gee, what is going on here? So anyway, I was able to survive that match. I got out of that, and so I remember refereeing one more. I think it was Buddy Landell and Pat Tanaka, I believe it was. So I made it through those matches, and then they gave me a job. Dusty Rhodes gave me my first job. That record told he was a great guy, and he gave me my first job as a referee. We went to TBS. They wanted a black referee on the TV, so I got that job doing that. And I was putting up the ring and refereeing, and then finally they gave me a full-time job refereeing, and then that's really kind of how I got started.
Wow, so a man with many hats. He, as you guys heard, at one time his original job was just putting up the ring, and he ended up refereeing. So that's crazy. So that's how you got your refereeing start. I was pretty interested to hear about that. So let's go ahead and talk about early on in your career. Like you said, the television station wanted a black referee on television. So early on in your...
I was told that Ted Turner wanted to... Well, I had refereed on the TV, and then I remember something. Then they gave me. I was on the Saturday afternoon show, never did a Saturday night. Then they gave me the morning show. There was a morning show that came on too, and I was told that Ted Turner wanted to keep that black referee on his TV. Now that's what I was told. I don't know whether it was true. He didn't tell me that personally, but that was somebody told me.
Okay, sorry about that misunderstanding. So, okay, here's a question for you. Early on in your career, did you, or throughout any of the process in your career, did you deal with any racism?
Well, racism is everywhere you go. I mean, you know what I'm saying, man. It is what it is. It's just the way of the world. But I was able to, there were some things I went through, but that was just part of it, man. And I was just back in the day, and I was in the South. But my thing was, God was able to bless me and to pull me out of that, and to show a lot of people that said there were people that said I didn't have any talent, and they didn't want to have anything to do with me for making me a star, putting me on TV. But God blessed me to make it to Vince, and Mr. McMahon gave me the opportunity to prove them all wrong. So that's why I look at it like this. It was, I had my day. I showed everybody that said, no, he can't. I showed them that, yes, I can.
And that's impressive. And that's very, very impressive, too, because, I mean, starting out down south and, that day and age, like, I couldn't even, fathom, how tough that is. And it certainly takes some thick skin, in my mind, to go through probably what you all had to go through. So now I want to, figure out, the truth about this rumor. So I heard that Ric Flair possibly called you a racial slur back in the day. Now, is that true or false?
That's true.
Okay, so if you don't mind, what exactly went down between you and Flair?
Well, it was one night out there. We were in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we was at a show there, and there were some girls or something that came to the back door of the arena, and they said something about I said that they could come in, or I gave them permission to come in, or something like that. And he walked up to me and he asked me, he said, "Hey, do you like working here?"
Oh, man, yeah, okay, so that rumor, so that is true. So have you and Rick had like a tough working relationship, or like did you guys eventually work it down the road, or how exactly did that one kind of pan out?
Well, I imagine that happened so long ago, and then at the time that it was said to me, I hadn't seen him in a while. But like I said, me and him talk. I speak to him. If he speak to me, I speak to him. We had a conversation. We had a nice, quick conversation. The last time me and him were together, and we did an independent show together up at for Nature Boy Paul Lee, and he was there and I was there, and so in fact, he sat down with me and went over his deal that what him and the guy was going to do in the ring, and he asked me, for my opinion. He asked me to, step in there, give him something to do, and I gave him a little something to do, and he liked what I said. He even told the guy, he said, "Well, listen to Teddy, I think that's a good idea you got there." So, I really actually believe he don't even remember that, because I'm saying back in the day, a lot of drinking was going on, and so a lot of things happened back in the day I could tell you about people, but I'm pretty sure they don't even remember it. So I don't even bring it up, because that'll be just totally denied. I never said that because they don't remember it.
Right.
But like I said, I let that pass. My victory was to make it on TV and to make myself a brand. And Vince McMahon gave me the opportunity to do that, so I made it. So I proved, like I said, to everybody said I can't. I proved yes I can. So I'm happy with everything. No, I got no animosity against Flair. I like him. He's fine. He speaks to me. He always asks me how my son's doing or whatever. So that's it. That's still milk. I buried the hatchet.
Yeah, and that's good, because I was kind of worried when I came across it, because, my favorite TV personalities, when I kind of think of them, I think of, Teddy Long, with the dance and the holla playa. And then I think of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. I'm like, oh my gosh, like those are two of my favorite, wrestling personalities of all time. I was like, I hope they're good. You know what I mean? I was like, man, so now, thank you, Teddy, for telling me that. I can finally sleep at night, not worrying that, two of my favorite wrestling personalities have any sort of animosity towards one another. So while we were talking about WWE, like you said, you proved everyone wrong, you made it to the big league, and you made yourself a brand. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So how exactly did you get into the WWE, and who reached out to you to make it happen?
Well, the way I went to the WWE, I think this was it's a gift from God. I was working in WCW, and they sent me home, and they, because they didn't know what they wanted to do with me. Okay, Eric Bischoff couldn't make up his mind what he wanted to do. So I was at home, and Jim Ross remembered Jim Ross was the one kind of got me started back in the day at NWA. He was one of the guys that him and Kevin Sullivan and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, God rest his soul, they were the two guys that recommended that I become a manager. So JR, I knew him pretty much. So I called JR when I was at home, at the time from WCW. I was still getting paid by them. And I asked JR about bringing me to New York. Did he have, good, could I come to work there or something? So JR told me he's going to look out for me. And he called me one day in the middle of the day, and he said, hey, I talked to Vince about you. We're going to bring you in first, and let you be a referee, and, you know what I mean, kind of work your way up and, let Vince see whatever you can do. But Jim Ross was the one that got me into WWE.
Okay, so good old JR was the one that reached out to Teddy Long and made it all happen. And that's good because, it ended up, like you were talking about earlier, God kept you in the right direction, because think about it, the Monday Night Wars, WWE, everyone knows WWE ended up winning, and in the long run, you got to stay with the company that ended up winning the Monday Night Wars. So, explain the fallout, because like you said, you were still with WCW the time WWE reached out to you, but WCW, like you said, they sent you home. Eric Bischoff couldn't make up his mind. So, explain the fallout between the WCW and WWE era. Was WCW oh, wait, no, you're still under contract, or was WCW okay, you know what, go for it if you want to do it? Explain the fallout.
Well, the fallout between the two companies, is that what you're saying?
The fallout, your, final stages with WCW. What were, how did that go?
Okay, well, what happened is after I talked to JR, and JR, let me know, that they were bringing me in. Well, I just called WCW and I just, got a letter and I did, put a resignation and I asked for my release. So that's how I got out of there. And Eric, I think Eric was in charge there, so they didn't have no problem getting my release, because I don't really think they had anything for me anyway.
Okay.
So that's what I did. Once JR confirmed with me that I was going to go to work there, then that's when I went to my lawyer. I got him to write up a letter and I asked for my release.
Okay, I see. So now let's talk about your referee days. Now, how exactly is the travel schedule like for the referee? Because I know for professional wrestlers, they only get to go home maybe 1 or 2 days a month. How exactly was the travel schedule for referees?
Well, like I said, that schedule's kind of hectic too for referees. I mean, if you wanted the top ref, like Kyoto, his schedule is pretty hectic because, basically, guys that are in the main event, they really want an experienced referee doing their matches. And that's what Mike Kyoto is. He's a legend in this business, and he's a great experienced referee. So his schedule has been pretty hectic, but like I said, the referee's not going to be that bad because he does more than one ref. So, for the traveling, some guys with the referee side, they can be able to take off and have some days off. So it's different with the wrestler. You can't take any days off. With Vince, he's strictly business. You're going to come to work if you don't crutches. I'm pretty sure you've seen guys at ringside where they walk out and they come out on crutches. So, Vince, if he advertises you, he wants you there. So, like I said, the referee schedule is not as bad as the guys, but they do have a hectic schedule, too, because some of the referees, after they finish refereeing, they have to stay there and tear the ring down. And then they have to get there early and put the ring up, before the show starts. So, but it's not too bad for them because back in the day it was bad. Now those guys got a bus. So, once they tear that ring down, get it all loaded, whatever, they get on the bus, and they don't have to worry about driving, and the bus takes them to the next town, and, and they can go to sleep on the bus and stuff. So, it's kind of real easy for them now. It's not like back in the day. So, right now, they pretty much got it made.
Okay, so pretty much you would rather be a WWE referee right now in 2016 rather than in the the late 90s, yeah.
Brother, listen, back in the day, brother, you drove everywhere you went. You know what I mean? I drove from my house let me tell you this story, brother. I drove from my house in Atlanta, Georgia to Richmond, Virginia. Okay? And I got to Richmond, Virginia, and I went in, and Jim Crockett looked at me and he asked me, he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, JJ booked me." He said, you guys were using me. And Jim Crockett told me, "Well, we don't need you tonight." Didn't give me one dime, and I had to turn around, drive all the way back to Atlanta, and pay for my own gas.
I would imagine that you weren't in the best of moods on that drive back home to Atlanta.
Well, you know what I mean? I've always been a guy that can, take it, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. All I can say, hey, I came, if they don't want me, there's nothing I can do. I mean, why am I going to get, why would I be, I'm mad for what happened, but, why would I let it go any further? I'm not going to get anywhere. There's no result. So,
Right.
You just take it and you keep on moving on, man, and wish for the next day. Hope you have a better day.
Absolutely. And we need more people like that. Like Teddy just said, hey, it is what it is, and him getting mad would only make things worse. So any of my listeners out there in the workforce, before you get mad at your boss about something, think twice, because you getting upset and bad-mouthing your boss probably won't, gain your boss's respect. So I like that mindset, Teddy. I really, really do, and I hope that...
You could be mad, and then the next thing you know, you're out of a job. So once you calm down, then where you going back to work?
Right.
If you know what I mean, I leave it like this. When people do stuff like that to me, it's like karma to me. What goes around comes around. I guarantee you, if you screw me around and I know I ain't did you no wrong, it's gonna come back to you.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. So I say you'll get here. I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm gonna keep on going, man.
Yeah, and I really, really respect that, Teddy. I really, really, really like that. So we talked about the refereeing. So let's talk about like the WWE refereeing. Like, is there any moments or memories to you that stands out?
No, well, I enjoyed that when I first went there, and the reason I really enjoyed being the referee there because it paid a lot more money than I was making when I was in WCW. So, a lot of memories. I was just glad to be able to work with a lot of guys that I had met from WCW. I had a chance to get back with Undertaker, and I had managed him back in the day when he was Dean Mark Callis.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to see Taker, and I was just really excited about coming to the WWE. So I didn't care whether it was a referee or whatever I had to do, because back then, everybody said that was the place to be. Go to New York. So I made it to New York, and I was just happy about that. So I enjoyed being a referee, and I just, like I said, I just glad that Vince discovered me and found out exactly what I could do, and then that's when I made the transition.
Absolutely, and nothing against Paul Heyman whatsoever. Paul Heyman, he's a great manager. He always, claims about his clients. But how about that? The Undertaker was once a Teddy Long guy. So let's, shift back. Let's talk about, you managing a young Undertaker. Let's talk about it. Like, how is, Taker as, a performer, on the camera and off the camera? Like, how exactly is Undertaker?
Well, the Undertaker is one of the nicest guys that you could ever meet. I mean, he's just super great. And like I said, he's a man that will get, if he likes you, and whether he not likes you or not, if he can see where he can do something for you, he'll give you the shirt off his back. And it was just great, for to be able to work with him, starting like from back in the day, especially with managing. And then when I came to work for Vince, and then when I made the transition and got into managing, and we did the storyline where he kidnapped me and I was in the coffin, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world to be able to work, with him to do that and be a big part of that, because he was the guy in WWE. I'm in the big time now. So I thought that was outstanding. But like I said, working with Taker, one of the greatest things you could ever be, because he always take time and give you good advice. He won't let you get on the wrong track, and all you got to do is listen to him. So, like I said, the man's absolutely fantastic.
All right, and now let's go ahead and talk about some other people that not necessarily you managed, but some people that in particular you worked with. Now, the first one that comes to my mind is Vicky Guerrero. Vicky would always heckle you backstage, and all that stuff, on the camera. So explain, like, how is Vicky Guerrero?
Vicky Guerrero was a sweetheart. She is a total sweetheart. I mean, off camera, brother, you would not believe her. She's just super nice, and I've had a great time working with her. And like I said, I tell her story all the time. A lot of things that she did to me that humiliated me and really made me look bad at some things that I told her to do, because we're a team, we got to make this thing work.
Right.
And I wanted to let, Vince know, I ain't got no problem with what I do. I know what this is, so don't worry about something go offend me because this is a story. Okay,
right.
So that's another way, you know, I made it because I didn't care. I wasn't worried about what people's gonna think. So what people think don't pay your bill. So
Right.
Getting back to Vicky, man, great. She was great to work with, man. We had great times out there, and anything we ever did, you know, it got right over. You know, it was just great. So I really missed her, and I enjoyed working with her. And she's another great person too.
Yeah, and that is insane to think, because like that just shows how talented of a worker Vicky Guerrero is. Because like when you think of Vicky Guerrero, you know, you think of how mean and cold she is, and then, you know, Teddy Long goes on to say, hey, she's a big sweetheart, huge heart, easily one of the nicest people, and he said he missed her and that he calls her a good friend. Like that's absolutely remarkable. Like I was not expecting to hear that.
Well, a lot of people don't know too, and Vicky will tell you this. You know, one day she was doing something, and then I was talking about something, and I was joking around, and she said, "Excuse me," and I said to her, "I said, that's it. I said, that's it right there. You keep saying that right there, and she'll tell you."
Wow. Wow, that is crazy. So
That's how that started.
that's how the excuse me. Okay, so the excuse me started, like Teddy Long just said, in a conversation with Vicky Guerrero, and Teddy Long was like, that's it, you need to say that. And those are the two words that, you know, exactly come to anyone's mind when you think of Vicky Guerrero. You think her coming out, you know, yelling at the top of her lungs saying, excuse me, like she didn't even have entrance music. So speaking of, you know, little sayings, so how exactly did the term playa come about?
Well, player is something that I created myself. I've told this a million times. You know, I had a dog. I had a big lab, and his name was Boss. The Boss died on me, but Boss was about 15 years old. So, but anyway, take a long story short, I used to get Boss. Boss would come in the house, and me and him would start playing, and I just always talk to him. Come here, player. You know, get down, player. You know, I just named him player. For some reason, I just started saying that to him, you know, and not taking full credit for saying player, because I think it was out with a lot of rap artists and stuff. Maybe I had already been saying it anyway. But I wouldn't, you know, like keep it up with the rap artist, but I was just saying player. I'd heard the word before, and I just thought it was great for me to call Boss player. And so I just went right to TV with it, you know, and I just started, you know, saying player, you know, because I knew that was a slang, and I knew people that, you know, had called other people players. So I said, hey, let's go to TV with this. So I didn't never think it would have got over as big as it did, but it was just something I thought about, and I went and did.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like, you know, nowadays, you know, when you're talking to your friends, you call them dude or bro or anything like that. But at least with like my wrestling friends, like we call each other playa. Like now, like nowadays, like
I still say it to people, brother. I say it right today. I meet somebody, I speak right to them. What's up, player?
And I love that.
I say it to people right now, man. Yeah.
And I love that because.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, like, I love that, too, because it's authentic. You know what I mean? Like, those are your words. That wasn't handed to you by Vince, and Vince came up to you and said, hey, you need to say this. Like, I like that because it's original, and it's a part of Teddy Long, both on camera and off camera.
Right. And I remember the first time when I first started managing, I was a heel then. And I'll never forget, one of the writers came and told me they wanted my character to be like a Don King. I'll never forget that. But I never did, you know, I never did even try that. I just went out there and I was me. My character was me. Okay? That's exactly what I did. No, I didn't copy from nobody. Everything I walked out there did was the walk. I did steal the walk from George Jefferson. I guess that's a little bit of the walk I did. I took that from George. But basically everything I did was me. You know, I mean, the writers wrote stuff for me, but I was able to add my stuff to it, you know, to make it flow, you know. So, that, you know, like I said, everything I did, you know, I was able to do it on my own. And you know, and I'm glad I was, because that's the thing about this, too. You know, he hates to sit down and have to do everything for somebody. He wants you to think about your character, too, and wants you to think about what you can do, you know, so they don't have to do all the thinking all the time. So you're doing anything that lets them know you're concerned about your job when you start thinking for yourself.
Absolutely. And I like that. You know, being you, it just makes it more authentic. And I think it makes it more enjoyable, you know, for both the fans and the entertainer. Because, you know, you can watch wrestling and you can be like, oh, man, that just doesn't seem like him. Like, that just doesn't seem right. And then, you know, you watch someone like Teddy Long and you'd be like, you know what? Like, that just fits him absolutely perfect. And why? It's because it's the real Teddy Long. It's not something that, you know, he's forcing himself to come out of his mouth. So, like any, you know, one that's trying to get in the wrestling business, you know, maybe, you know, get that in mind. You know what I mean? Just be authentic. So, Teddy, here's a question for you. You know, we talked about Vicky, you know. So, are you actually, you know, are you still in touch with anyone from the WWE, whether they're currently on the roster or formerly on the roster?
Well, I talked to a few people. In fact, I talked to Mark Henry a couple of days ago, and I think they had just finished doing Raw in New Orleans, and they was on their way to Lafayette. I remember Mark just wanted to give me a call, and he said, "You certainly missed, man. But me and the guys just got to talking about you. Said, we just want you to know we miss you, man." I said, "Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate that." I still talk with Mike Chioda. He's still referee there. I talk with R-Truth. You know, he's a good friend of mine. And that's basically about it. You know, CM Punk, well, you know, he's not there anymore, but I still stay in touch with him. You know, he's a great guy. I really enjoy working with him. I got a lot of respect for him. And that's about it, man. You know, but like I said, not too many people, because I understand when guys on the road, you know, it's hard for them. Everybody's stressed out and tired, you know, and it just ain't really the time to talk. So, you know, I know how it is being on the road. So, but like I said, the guys that you do talk to since you've been gone, you can really find out who your friends are. You know, they'll stay in touch with you and let you know. Tony Atlas, he's not with them, but I still talk to him frequently, so he's always been a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, you mentioned CM Punk, and that's been such a huge topic when it comes about the WWE for the past few years, ever since he left. So now, what do you exactly remember CM Punk for? You said he's a great guy and you have a lot of respect for him, but like, you know, it seems like you're either on one side or the other. You either say like, yes, like this guy, like he was great to work with, or like, unfortunately, there's people, you know, that will just badmouth him and say, you know what, like he was kind of a cancer to the company, which, you know, I kind of find ridiculous. But how exactly do you feel about CM Punk? Like, let's talk about, like, because supposedly, you know, when I listened to his podcast with Colt Cabana, he was saying that he was frustrated for quite some time. Like, could you see the frustration for Punk?
Well, I could see the frustration for him. You know, like I said, I do a lot of cardio. Like I said, before I left WWE, though, I put on some weight, let my weight got back on. But like I said, right now, making a long story short, all that's over with. But that's why me and Punk was such good friends, because he stayed in the gym. And I used, you know, and I do a lot of cardio, and it really made him really tight. At one time, we were overseas, and I'll tell this little story. And I did an hour of cardio, and Punk gave me some money that I couldn't do another hour. And Kane was there; he was standing there too. And I did another hour of cardio, so it was 2 hours of cardio I did nonstop, and that kind of impressed Punk. But anyway, Punk was always, you know, I think a lot of promises, and I don't know, you know, what his situation was, but I think what happened, what happened is, I think that from what I heard is that they promised Punk a lot of stuff, and then it didn't happen, and then I think they brought somebody else in, and what was promised to Punk, they gave it to somebody else. So, like I said, I'm just speaking about what I hear and what, you know, rumors and stuff. So I don't know what happened, but I did see the frustration in him, you know, because he would talk to me sometime, you know. So, you know, like I said, I'm just happy that, you know, he was able to get out. He was a guy that didn't mess his money up. He saved his money, you know, and so he didn't leave, you know, he wasn't messed up. So he was able to get out and get himself involved in something else. And I think with this MMA, I think he's going to be all right.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to his UFC fight. I think the last thing that I heard is that he possibly might be making his debut at UFC 200 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'll tell you what, I'm definitely pulling for Punk, and I hope he wins that first fight, and I hope he proves everyone wrong. You know, all those doubters and all that.
Right. Well, I do too, man. And like I said, I think, you know, I wouldn't put it past him if he didn't win, you know, because Punk was a tough guy now. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy has probably, you better than anyone know, Teddy. The guy's probably worked through injuries. He's used to, wrestling, probably 5-6 days a week. Like, this guy took some tough bumps, and this wasn't a guy that ever took off time. You know what I mean? Like, sure, like after his match with Undertaker at WrestleMania, he took off a little bit of time, but I mean, he never, took an extended a period amount of time. I think the shortest time he took a break in his career was maybe 2 or 3 months. So it's in his DNA. He's a very, very tough guy, and I honestly can't wait to see what he does in the world of MMA. So now, Teddy, this is just something, that maybe you can take a guess on or anything like that, but a lot of fans wanted me to ask you this. Do you think we will ever see CM Punk in a WWE ring again?
See who?
CM Punk in a WWE ring again?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I've learned in this business, never say never. It's all about that dollar. And everybody has a price. And, I feel that, that's just like it is. Everybody has a price. And I feel like for the right amount of money, and if Vince sees that he can make money off of it, I think that'll happen.
All right. Yeah. I think I'm hoping for it, and I think a lot of people are hoping that we get to see the best in the world in the ring one more time. So now, Teddy, could we possibly I don't know about your situation and all that, but do you think you would ever come back to the WWE, or are you happy right now with where you're at?
Well, I'm happy right now where I'm at. I stayed on the road over 20-some years, and I was only home maybe 2 days out of the week. I lived basically out of my suitcase. I'd bring clothes home just to wash them up and throw them right back in my bag. So I had no idea how stressed out I really was, and I think it was a blessing from God that, when I left the WWE, it was great. It was good for me, because I needed to come home, get some rest, get my health back together, and get some weight off of me and get myself back in shape, because I'm a gym nut. I love gym.
Yeah, I see that on your Twitter a lot. I see you posting the pictures.
Yeah, man, I'm a gym freak, and I've been doing that over 20-some years training. So, and I know what it means, to keep your weight down and, keep your blood pressure down. I know what it means to try to stay alive, So, like I said, I think it did me good to come home. It was just a blessing, man. And I came home, got myself, and I feel great. I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. But, if I get a call from Vince, how can you turn Vince down? He's the man made it possible for me to be where I am today. So if he wants me back, then, I definitely will be, go back to it.
Absolutely, and that's awesome. And me, and I think a lot of other people would love to have you back as a GM, because it seems like a lot of people right now are kind of tough on the idea with the authority and all that going on. But while we're talking about, GM and all that, let's go ahead, and I want to ask you this. Do you prefer being a referee or a general manager?
Well, it don't make no difference to me. Just give me my check.
Right. Okay. I like that. I like that mindset. See, so this is...
Referee, if I can make as much money refereeing as I can being a GM, then give me that striped shirt.
Yeah, and this is exactly why... when I was doing my research on you, like, it seemed like literally everyone had nothing but good things to say about you. And now I exactly see, the character of Teddy Long, and like that is absolutely impressive. Like, I absolutely love that. So now let's go ahead and talk about the GM. So like I said, to open up the show, you're a former general manager for Smackdown, Raw, and ECW. Now, what are some of your favorite memories of being a general manager? Like, the one that comes up to my mind, this is one of my, like, when I think of Teddy Long, like, I still laugh at this. Like, I actually watched the YouTube clip just because I adored the segment, was the heart attack.
Oh, at the wedding.
Yes, at the wedding.
Yeah, that was fun too. I enjoyed that. That was Vince's idea, and basically, the majority of the stuff that I went out on TV and did and said, it was written by Vince. Vince wrote a lot of my stuff, and so that's why I made it my point to get this stuff over and to make it work, because it came from the boss. I can't let him down.
Right.
So with the heart attack thing, I was didn't bother me. I was happy to do it. It was great. I had my real wife. She was sitting there on the front row watching everything, and that was the first time she had ever been with me to a TV tape and wouldn't actually seen what I do. You know, my wife, she just homeless. She likes to stay at home.
Okay.
So anyway, she came out and she was there to watch that, and I thought it was just great. I know one thing: when they were rolling, when they put me in the ambulance, they were rolling me out, and they had Crystal in the ambulance with me. She was beating me in my chest, like trying to make me wake up, but she was killing me. She was hitting me so hard in my chest, I almost told her. She was killing me, bro. I'm telling you. But that was really fun. That was a great moment for me. I enjoyed doing that. I also enjoyed the time when I did a lot of stuff with Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. I had great fun with them. A lot of memories there. So, I had some great moments, especially, with Vicky, the one with Drew McIntyre when he was the chosen one. I did a lot of stuff with him where he had me all on my knees and stuff, but everything I did, I had fun with it, and I just wanted to make sure that it worked and make the boss happy.
Absolutely, and I really love that. I really appreciate that. So now you've been involved in a lot of good storylines, as a general manager. So if you could, what is your favorite storyline of all time, like that you were involved in?
The one that involved with me and The Undertaker and CM Punk.
Okay. So let's talk about that one. So what made you love that so much? I'm guessing, part of it is, your personal, friendship with Undertaker and CM Punk. But also, what about it did you like a lot? Because I know... I'm sorry, go ahead, Teddy.
What I liked about it a lot is, a lot of people take their job serious and a lot of people don't. Well, Undertaker and Vince McMahon are two serious people. They don't play. Especially Vince, about, what's going on that TV out there. He's not putting that out there for people to laugh at. I mean, there are some things that people do laugh at, but whatever's being put out there, it's all about making money. And what I was so happy about and enjoyed about it is that I was a part of it. I'm working right close to Vince. I'm on TV cutting promos with Vince, with the man, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, my promos that I'm doing with him are absolutely great. He's praising me and telling me stuff, that God, good shit, he's telling me, and that's what made me enjoy it so much. I'm here to make this man happy, and that's what I'm doing. So that's the fun I had out of it. It was real serious, and especially with Punk. Punk was always serious about his work too. So we was a team there, man, and they had that stuff written out, and I was basically I was really the character, basically I was involved in all of it. You saw more of me than you did Taker and Punk. So, and I had all that on me by myself, and there was a lot of stuff for me to remember. There was a lot of scenes that I was in that was written, and I had to remember every one of them.
Absolutely.
So, but that was another thing, God bless me with a good memory. That's just part of my deal, I got a great memory. And so I was able to put something in my head then in, 3 or 4 minutes, I got it,
Right.
So, and believe me, I've made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those perfect people, but, I don't make a lot of them. Sometimes I went out and I forgot my lines, and I was able to, catch myself. But like I said, the 90% of the time, I'm on the money.
Absolutely.
Right, but that was one part about it, just to be able there to work with the with the big people, man. That you don't know how good that feels, especially working with the guys that are on top and you're involved in that. That's the money.
Yeah.
I'm helping make the money here. I'm involved in the money match.
Yeah.
So, but this man ain't playing. He ain't putting me out here just because he liked me. He got me involved in this because I can help make this money.
So you were, and that's another thing too, is that it seems like you wanted, like, it seems like, okay, because I listened to like a Daniel Bryan interview, and he said there's two types of people in the WWE, and you can either agree with me or disagree with me on this one, Teddy, but he said that there's people that want that main event, and then there's people in the back just hoping that their name doesn't get called for like a live event match. Now, is that true, like, or would you consider that like a misconception?
Well, no, that's true, because a lot of guys, they're nervous. You know what I mean? Because they know that main event match is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, brother. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and if you're out there with the right guy, just say if you're Daniel Bryan and you're in there with a guy like The Undertaker, you know what I mean? It's smooth sailing. You ain't got to worry, because he's going to carry you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Daniel is a guy that's got a lot of sense. You know, he's got a great mind. You know, for the wrestling business too, and he knows. You know, and so to be able to, for him to be in there with somebody like Taker, somebody that just doesn't have to tell him everything to do. You know what I mean? That's going to be great for both of them. But like I said, there are some guys that you know, when that name is called, they know. You know, they got to either make the touchdown or they got to go home.
Right. Okay. So now we talked about Daniel Bryan. So let's talk about, you know, WWE right now, 2016. So, you know, as I'm sure you know, right now the roster is just injury-plagued from top to bottom. You know, you got John Cena, Seth Rollins, Nikki Bella, Orton, Daniel Bryan, you know, Cesaro. There are some great talents that are hurt. So, you know, as a whole, how do you feel about the WWE product right now?
Well, you know, the product is always going to be good. You know, you can believe that because Vince is going to make sure of that. But the thing is, you know, some things you just can't help. You know, like you said, a lot of injuries, you know, to a lot of top guys, you know, a lot of money-making guys, you know, they're not going to be able to be there, going to be out, you know, and girls too. So, you know, that's what NXT is all about. That's why they got guys down there that they're training and trying to get them ready because, you know, Vince understands, you know, he has to continue to build stars. Okay, he has to make stars. That's you know, everybody's role, you know, rolls out. Everybody's day comes. So I think it's just the problem of them waiting now, and hopefully, you know, that they can, you know, develop some good talent, some guys out of NXT and bring them in, and these guys can, you know, carry the ball. But right now, you know, there's nothing you can do. I've been there, you know, before when this has happened. You know, I was there. You just got to go with what you got, and you got to make it work. And the few guys that you got there now, they got to be serious, man. They can't be playing around because if the ball's in their court, and they got to, you know, they got to work. They got to roll. So, you know, there's nothing you can really do about it, man, you know. But like I said, well, you got to just go with what you got, and you got to make sure it works. And I think it'll work as long as, you know, I know Vince and Hunter, you know, they're going to make it work. And if the guys are loyal and, you know, committed to you know, to the company like they should be, then everything will work out all right.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If I'm a betting man, I'm always betting on Vince McMahon because at the end of the day, like Teddy said, you know, he always finds a way. You know, the product is always going to be good, as Teddy Long said. Like, every single WrestleMania is going to be entertaining. You know, I have a lot of, you know, fans and followers out there, you know, freaking out about WrestleMania and talking about the expectations being low. Like, no. At the end of the day, we got Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon will not let us down. So, now, Teddy, you talked briefly about NXT. Now, you have a good wrestling mind. You know, like you said, you were in the business for over 2 decades. Is there currently an NXT superstar that comes to mind that you could see having a very, very bright future? Like, when I think, you know, I think the first person coming to mind is Finn Balor, the NXT champ. And then I really like Apollo Crews. Is there one NXT superstar in particular that you enjoy watching or that you could see having a bright career?
Well, I don't get the TV from NXT, you know, so I never see any of their shows. You know, I'm in Georgia. I never get any of that. But I just basically talk to some of the guys that are down there, you know, for, you know, telling me, you know, what talent is there. But the person that I like that's, you know, well, he's out of NXT now, he's in WWE, is Kevin Owens. I think the money there's some money in Kevin Owens. I like Kevin. He's got a great look, and I think he's going to be the guy. So hopefully, you know, they do the right thing with him, and like I said, that's just my opinion. I believe in him. You know, he may not make a nickel. I don't know, but I like Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and I'm a Kevin Owens guy too. Like, I'm hoping that, you know, like that he gets that main event attention soon, and that he gets that push that I think he deserves. Because at the end of the day, I think the guy's got it all. He can talk and he can wrestle, you know, and he can get a big reaction out of the crowd. So now, Teddy, I'll just leave you with this. I just want to hear, if you can, you know, think of something. What is your favorite memory of your entire wrestling career? Like, if there's one that points out, like, what is your all-time favorite moment in your entire wrestling career?
is when I was being called to come to go to work for the WWE, which was the WWF at the time. That was a great moment. And the other one was the night that I went out and Vince McMahon introduced me as the new general manager of Smackdown.
Okay. Yeah, and I can only, imagine the feeling saying, hey, we're the WWE, and we want you to work. So now Teddy, so those are his all-time favorite ones. Teddy, I appreciate the heck out of you, brother. I'm glad that, we reached out to each other on Twitter, and we got connected. I know you have a website now. So what is that website? Because I'm sure my followers definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And I'd like, to get some feedback on it, tell me how they like it. But it's TeddyLong.com. And you can go there, and the Twitter is at Teddy Play Along. But the website, all of that, you can go to TeddyLong.com, and it'll direct you to the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube channel, Instagram. All that stuff will be right there on the TeddyLong.com. So I'm looking for all the players to be lighting me up and let me know what you think about it, man, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to say to you, like I say to all the podcast guys when I do these things, I really appreciate you thinking about me, because a lot of times, when you're on TV, you're everybody's friend. But once you're off TV, you don't hear from nobody. So you are one person, one of the podcast people that was thinking about me, and I appreciate you thinking about me. And that's why I had no problem doing this for you, and I'll be glad to do it for you again anytime soon, because what I understand is that this helps me, and it also helps you, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, not a problem, Teddy. Nothing but love from the BSSN team. I think we would love to have you on a future podcast, so hopefully we can do that. Guys, like he said, be sure to check out his website, which is teddylong.com, and also be sure... What was that, Teddy?
I'm going to throw this out there, too. On January the 30th, I'm up in Industry, California for Insane Wrestling. Tomorrow night, I'm in St. Lucie, Port Florida. I forget the name of the deal, but you guys on the website, you guys out there on social media, you know where it is. It's Port St. Lucie, Florida tomorrow night, and Insane Wrestling on January the 30th.
Yes, and I will be sure to retweet that and tweet that all out, and you guys... I have
that on my Twitter, too. What I'm doing tomorrow night, it is up on Twitter now, so if you can pull that up and see it, if you can tweet that out for me.
All right, yeah, perfect. Anything for you, Teddy. So, guys, be sure to show Teddy Long some love. I know I got some people out west, and I know I got some people all over there. So be sure to go. You have the opportunity to see Teddy Long in person. So be sure to check him out and show him some love. So, Teddy, anything you want to leave the people with before we hop off this?
Hey, I just want to tell everybody, I know it's a little bit late, but Happy New Year, and I thank everybody for all of their support. And you ain't got to ever worry about Teddy Long. He ain't going to let you down. And, you may see me somewhere down the road. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that pretty much recaps the interview with Teddy Long. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And also be sure to follow the real Teddy Long Twitter account, not the fake one. I'll tweet it out in the link of this video. And also be sure to check out his website, teddylong.com, and he wants to hear your feedback, so be sure to tweet at him. He's a great guy, and he replies most of the time, so be sure. If you want to have a conversation with Teddy Long, just tweet at the guy. So, guys, until next time, this is BSSN checking out.
You know it's the Mac Militant.
Coming to get it on. Yeah, get out of my way. I'm coming to thunder and lightning and striking. I'm inviting you all to the storm. Feel the pain that I try to contain. My heart is as black as the blood in my veins.